Welcome. My name's Jonathan. So, is your marriage worth saving? I think that's a valid question. A lot of people have problems with their marriage and they want to give up, they want to quit because they've got all kinds of problems. That can be relational problems with communication, it can be money fights, it could be just lack of interest in the other person, it could be problems with that person's character. But a lot of times, what the real issue is the individual has not given up their rights to do whatever they want to do in favor of the other person. And that is really, really important in a marriage if you want to stay married. If you want to stay married, you've got to give up part of your life for that person. And that's a lot harder to actually live out than it is to just say or to do one time. For example, a lot of guys will say, I would die for you. But will they die in the sense that they die daily, that they lay down their life for that person, that they actually live for that person in a selfless way where they're not living their life for themselves in their own way, where they give up their time and their desires in order to be able to be the best person they can for their spouse? That's a big deal. That's what Jesus did for the church. It's all throughout the whole New Testament and really even the whole Bible is God's love for his people, for in the sense of the church being the bride. He laid down his life for us. And whether you're male or female, your spouse is worth it, even if they don't act like they're worth it. If they don't understand who they are or who they're meant to be, that's not up to them necessarily to live out first before you treat them how God wants you to treat them. What happens oftentimes is that there's a general callousness and a kind of a crust. There's a hardness of heart that stops people from being able to interact. They put up boundaries and barriers and walls and things that keep them from being willing to be vulnerable for the other person. We're supposed to be connected in marriage. And so that requires that we basically live in a way that is understanding and is selfless. And what that does is it actually tends to break down barriers that the other person might be putting up. Now, you might think, well, my spouse isn't even attractive anymore. I'm not attracted to him anymore. And I just, we've grown apart. We have different interests and all that sort of stuff. But let me ask you this. What are you accomplishing by getting out of your marriage? There's a lot of people who get out of marriages that are totally not happy that they did that. They might be, in a sense, happier that they're free or whatever, that they actually get to do whatever they want to do all the time. But there's a lot to be said for sticking something out and having success. It's worth the fight to have a good marriage, and that comes by fighting yourself, just scrapping it out in life to get to that point where you have a good marriage. The little things that you've got to change in who you are and in who or in how you act, how your marriage acts as an interaction between two people. So you talk through different things, boundaries, and you talk through the way that you're going to handle money, and there's compromise, and there's just listening to the other person's point of view and wisdom and coming up with something that you can agree on that's actually going to work. And there's lots of resources from Dave Ramsey to all kinds of books all over the place, and people giving wisdom on marriage, people that have had successful marriages and for a long time, that have had issues and overcame them, and how did they do that? It's worth the fight. It's worth the fight, not against the other person, but for your marriage. It's something that God has designed to be a holy union, as the word says. If you have any questions, let me know. In the meantime, be blessed.